It always felt like this one was going to go 7, right? And the Blue Jays officially locked up this reality yesterday with a 6-2 victory over the M's. But much like how the previous game featured a notable moment in the 8th that existed somewhat under the surface relative to the final box score, yesterday's game did too, this time going against Seattle, when their offense proceeded to choke away 2 prime opportunities in a fashion we'd never seen in the postseason before, then registering a separate feat that hadn't happened in 20 years immediately after. Things really got started in Game 6 of the ALCS in the bottom of the second, when, following Trey Savage striking out the side, Dalton Varsho led off with a single to center field, which ended up getting misplayed by Julio Rodriguez, allowing the lefty to get to second. Ernie Clement then reached on a miscue as well, this time by Eugenio Suarez. 2 batters, 2 errors is not a good start, and they would be forced to pay for this soon after, when Addison Barger lined a single into right field to give the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. This would be doubled shortly after when IKF flipped a softly hit ground ball to Suarez, who couldn't make the play on a bare hand. Things could have really gotten ugly from here, but you gotta commend Mariners starter Logan Gilbert for his tenacity, as he struck out 2 of the next 3 batters, before Suarez atoned for his mistake earlier in the frame with a diving play to save a couple runs. This takes us to the Mariners' first monumentally wasted opportunity, when in the top of the 3rd, J.P. Crawford drew a leadoff walk. After a strikeout from Dominic Canzone, Leo Rivas came to the plate and crushed a ball 360 feet to right field, one that Addison Barger couldn't manage to secure on a leap. However, because of a bad read-off of first by JP, he only ended up getting a single on this. The team was still set up for big things after Julio Rodriguez drew a walk, bringing MVP candidate Cal Raleigh to the plate, but he would not be able to come through here, hitting a ball hard at 101 miles an hour, but right to first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who turned it into a double play with a nice feed and good job covering by Savage. This had to feel terrible leaving all those runners on, right? And it would get even worse when, in the bottom of that very frame, Addison Barger cracked a 2-out home run, doubling Toronto's lead to 4-0. Seattle had to respond, and again it looked like they were about to when Josh Naylor and Randy Rosarena registered back-to-back singles ahead of a Suarez walk, loading the bases again with 1 out. This brought JP to the plate with a chance to redeem himself for his earlier blunder, but the veteran lefty would not be able to do any such thing, grounding a ball on a hop to Kiner Falefa, allowing him to start a double play even more routine than the last. This made the Mariners the first team in postseason history to ground into bases-loaded double plays in back-to-back innings, according to Sportsnet Stats on Twitter. And of course, what made it even worse was the fact that there was 1 out in both frames as well, meaning they put 6 runners on base with nothing to show for it. Insult would then be added to injury when Canzone led off with a single in the 5th, only to be wiped out when, later on, J-Rod grounded into an inning-ending DP, allowing Savage to become the first player to induce inning-ending double plays in 3 straight innings in the postseason since Chris Carpenter in 2005, according to Sarah Langs. Those are 2 feats that no team wants to be a part of. But you know what team did post something they could be proud of? The Blue Jays, and specifically Vladdy Jr., who in the bottom of the 5th crushed a line drive home run to left field, tying Joe Carter and Jose Bautista for the most home runs in postseason franchise history for a career, let alone single playoff run. Remember, he's also had just 2 strikeouts during this time as well. Seattle would manage to get a couple on the board in the top of the 6th with a nonchalant Naylor blast and then a single that scored a Rosarena from first base, but it wouldn't end up mattering much because they couldn't get anything going offensively after, eventually having to watch as their deficit grew back to 4 after Cal Raleigh threw a ball away to third base following a wild pitch. A contest that had felt over for a few frames officially came to an end when Canzone popped up to Ernie Clement, clinching a Game 7 that, like I said in the intro, always felt like it was destined to happen. Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in a video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.